Can you see my screen? You should be able to see my screen now. Can you see it? Can you see my
Yes, we can.
screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So welcome to the session for today, this evening. We're talking about cloud computing. Sorry, just a minute. Okay, so who am I? I'm Abubakar Yusuf, alias the Tech Maestro. That's my alias on social media platforms like Twitter, Reddit, YouTube. You could check me out. I'm a DevOps engineer by day, YouTuber by night. I do DevOps work. DevOps means a lot of things to different people. So I do DevOps engineering work by day at a startup. Then I'm a YouTuber by night. I make YouTube videos. You can check out my channel at the Tech Maestro. It's the same thing with the alias. A lot of I am a bit confused. If you read a lot of technical books, you get to get confused a lot. So that's my go-to statement. So a little issue. So how did we arrive at the cloud? Since I'm talking about cloud computing, it is very sensible of me to tell you what we were before and how it is important to know what the cloud is and why it is so much of a buzzword. So this is how it is. We have large mainframes, portable size computers, personal computers, and the cloud. Looking at this, it doesn't really make much sense, but I'll explain. So before computers, at its very early stage, we're just set to do simple operations, additions, multiplications, subtractions, very simple things. But they were very big. And as they were very big, they also took time. But as electronics improved and a lot of things got easier to do at a very fast computers around the world. So when networking got advanced and a lot of computers were able to get connected to each other, that brought about what we call the internet, as we all know it. So the internet was everywhere, and the internet laid the foundation for cloud. So cloud is just combinations or interconnections of different computers at its basic form. So in between personal computers and people seeing a lot of things being done, cloud was born. So cloud is just like a connection of different computers provided over the internet. So let's see my definition of what a cloud is. If I'm being asked what exactly is the cloud, I'll tell you cloud is simply interconnection of computers provided as a service. This can be twisted in any form. You could, someone working a good foundation for which a cloud is. So if you hear cloud next time, it just means an interconnection of computers which are used to provide services. And the services can range from different things. So different models, there are different models. We have the deployment model and the service model. Deployment model is just how you want your cloud, where you want to access it. The service models are the different services that can be provided over the cloud. So for the deployment model, we have public cloud, hybrid cloud, private cloud. And to explain this, I'm not one that uses a lot of technical terms. I'll tell you a story. So let's say we have a cloud drive company. We are all the CEOs and we want to provide cloud drive. Cloud drive is a company which is built over the internet. And what we have to do is we want to use that to provide transportation services from one company to another, from one passenger. We want to transport passengers from one place to another. If I was to use a public cloud model, our services will be available to anybody. Example is the public transport we all have. So if we're employing the public transport model, that means we're making use of a public cloud because anybody can access public transport. If we're going to be using a private cloud model, what we have to do is we're going to buy a set of cars, we're going to put our company names on it, and we're going to make it accessible for only specific set of people. Those are the people that have access to our cars and which are going to be using for our company's transportation services. Now, hybrid cloud is a mix of both public and private, and a perfect example is the Uber platform, Uber framework. Uber drivers during weekdays they provide public services. Weekends they use it for their personal things. So a great example of hybrid cloud is Uber, how Uber transportation works. And it depends on how we want it for our cloud drive company. We could say Monday to Thursdays, we'll be using our public cloud. That means our company will be running on public transport. Then Fridays to Thursdays, we'll be using our public cloud. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes, we
can.
can get you.
Yeah,
Maybe,
you.
Okay. Okay, so from
maybe
coming
Stanley,
from
Stanley,
Thursday.
you
Yes,
can mute your
yes.
mic. Stanley, you
Yeah?
can mute your mic. Stan and
Okay.
the other guys.
So from
Yeah,
from Thursdays
but we're
to
getting it.
Sundays, we'll be running on private cloud. That means we're going to buy a set of company that we are going to be using, a set of cars we are going to be using for those things. For public cloud, immediate availability and accessibility is of key importance. Private cloud, we are more concerned about security and who has access to our stuff. Hybrid cloud is just a mixture of the two of them. So different service model, how we want to provide our services. If we're using infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. For infrastructure as a service, what we are going to be doing is that means we are providing the foundations for the things we are going to be using. Let's take a look at another company. Another company is Cloud Cakes. Cloud Cake, what we are doing is we are providing cakes to consumers, right? And if we are providing cakes to consumers, we need different things. So starting with, if we are employing infrastructure as a service for our company, what we are going to be provided with is the kitchen, the utensils like the oven, the all the different utensils needed to bake cake and package it will be provided with everything like kitchen, like oven, like the utensils, the mixer, everything we provided. But we are going to get the ingredient ourselves and bake by ourselves before giving the end product to our consumers. That's if we're using infrastructure as a service. If we're using platform as a service, what we are going to be doing is they will provide the people we are getting the platform as a service is what they'll be providing to us is the kitchen, the utensils, the ingredients needed to bake our cake, and in the right amount as we have requested for. All we are going to do from our part is just come in and start baking. As simple as that. That's what platform as a service is. So it goes a bit further from infrastructure by providing us with the ingredients and also in the right amount. All we have to do is come in and start baking. Software as a service. For the cloud cake company, if we're employing software as a service, we are getting the end product. That means we are getting the cake we asked for. All we have to do is provide the size and everything. They give us the cake and we are going to deliver it to our customers. So software as a service is going to give us the full end product. All we have to do is drop our specifications as needed. So taking it to the technical term, infrastructure as a service, a good example is Google Compute Engine. If you're familiar with GCP, Google Compute Engine, you're going to be provided with the compute engine needed. Possibly, maybe you need a 4 gig RAM, uh, you need an OS of Ubuntu or any Linux OS, and so on and so on. You'll be provided with that. That's the infrastructure, basic infrastructure you need. But if you're going to use a platform as a service, if you're all familiar with Heroku, a popular hosting platform, you still build the software yourself. But if you want to host it, you put it to Heroku, they do all the deployment for you, and you get a link. That's platform as a service. Then software as a service is Microsoft Office 365, your Gmail, your cloud, cloud word text, your Microsoft Outlook, all those are software as a service because you don't get to manage everything. They are providing you with the finished product. Examples of common cloud providers we have AWS, we have GCP, we have Microsoft Azure, we have DigitalOcean and IBM Cloud. Note there are a lot of cloud providers, but these are like the familiar ones or the popular ones, I would say. So I want to show you guys a quick demo of cloud environment, and I'll be showing you Azure, Microsoft Azure, just a moment. So this is my this is my own account on Microsoft Azure. These are the things I've worked on. These are different resources. You can see we have virtual machines, we have resource group, we have SQL databases, load balancer, and so on. If you want to check your cost, you come here, you see the view. These are the things you're seeing. One outstanding and amazing thing about the cloud is it is pay as you go. You don't pay for what you are not using, and you don't pay for what you don't use. So you only pay for things that you have used based on the time you have used it. So you can see these 3 units is 2 hours 45 minutes, 7 hours 40 minutes, 9 units 1 hour 40 minutes. And this is one thing I worked on. Just a moment. Okay, I've deleted it. I would have loved to show you guys that, but I've deleted it. Let me see. Others are company stuff, but let's click on this one. Let's just see the infrastructure resource group. So this is a resource group I created. Two virtual networks are on it. Then if I want to create anything, I could come here. I could create a resource. You can see. So this is an Ubuntu server. Normally, I would need to do this physically by buying, maybe buying a server, buying space on a server, load Ubuntu. But now I could just do it with a click. I could click on this. This is Ubuntu server 18.8. Just a moment, let it load. See, I'll fill this. I have my subscription. I'll give it a name. Let's say Ubuntu one. I'll say uh I'll add my username and password in case I don't want to prevent access from anybody, the ports, and so on and so forth. But that's like a quick. Oh, sorry, that name is wrong. Let me say Ubuntu. Yes. So I'll give it a name, that type of name. Then I'll specify a size. Oh, I haven't added an image. Then if I want to be the administrator, that means I want to give access to very few people. I'll do this. Inbound ports, if I want people or if I want to connect to it on some specific ports, I'll click on allowed selected ports. I'll specify the ports or none. So basically that's how easy it is. The cloud abstracts a lot of things. All these things I'm doing with the click of a button. Normally previously in the 90s or around, let's say, early 2000, you'd have the need to do these things are usually done manually or what we call on premise. So you buy data centers. That's where you see some companies having very large data centers, and systems administrators usually do that for them. You go there, you fix your server, you do the networking manually, you connect, you monitor the cooling, everything, you write scripts for automation. But now everything are built as a web app, and you are provided the service, and you can do all these things with the click of a button, which is very, very amazing. And I'm sure you guys will really appreciate this because I can assure you doing these things manually is extremely, extremely stressful. So that's it. A little advice for you guys. So after this session, I really love you guys to go deep by understanding the abstractions, questioning everything. As you saw a virtual machine. The questions that should be in your mind is, what is a virtual machine? What are we being abstracted from? What is the abstraction made of? And question everything. Don't accept, because these things were built by humans like both of us, and it will be amazing to see the amazing things you guys are going to build. So a virtual machine, for instance, a virtual machine is abstracting what a server is actually. So a virtual machine is just like a server in its simple terms. So if you can go deep to understand how server works, it will be easy for you to operate virtual machines on the cloud because you already have the technical know-how. I hope that makes sense. Same thing for load balancers and networking. If you understand how computers are connected, maybe from doing things manually in a way, or from trying to connect things, maybe you should speak with very old systems administrators with a lot of hands-on experience, or try things yourself. If you understand how networking works, things like ports, TCP, IPv6, IPv4, all those type of things, load balancing, scaling up, scaling down, all those things are also used on the cloud. But since you understand the technical know-how, it will be easy for you to grasp the concepts and also be able to use it effectively. So the cloud is just like a perfect example of how the cloud is playing football. So if you understand the rules and regulations of football, you could build your own game or something. So you're abstracting away from people who play football physically by providing them with a game. That's a very close but not fully appropriate analogy of how the cloud is with respect to what we are trying to achieve here. And finally, guys, merci. Thank you all for having me on this platform today. Big shout out to all the organizers and Geek Tutor and everyone who joined. I'm really grateful to you guys, and I'm hoping to get your questions so we can learn from each other. So, any questions? Guys, I think that's all for now. So, any questions? Um, you could use the chat box to your side to, in case you guys, I'll be. Any questions, guys? Mm, okay. I'll just hold on. Maybe you guys are like, I'll just chill for in case you guys have questions. Well, you can either unmute your mic to ask a question, or you could use the chat box, this chat feature by the side. Okay, since there are no questions, I did. Oh, okay. The coder asked, "What is load balancing?" Okay, that's a wonderful question. So, okay, how should I don't want to be too technically detailed, but let me give you a simple example. So let's say I am speaking the way I'm speaking to you guys, we are like 10 here, right? So imagine the 10 of you are servers, and the 10 of you need something from me, which is the speech I'm giving. In order for me to effectively serve you guys, I have to distribute my speech. Let's say let's say you guys are hearing me individually, so I have to distribute my speech one by one to the 10 of you. Rather than doing that, there will be a load balancing between myself and you guys. So what a load balancer does is it helps manage traffic. Traffic is the movement of data from one place to another. So it helps manage traffic between myself and you guys. So you guys get to hear me at the same time. I don't know if that's clear enough. So a load balancer helps to manage traffic on your cloud platform. So for example, if you have a software application and you only have two servers and there are over 1,000 users, if you put only two servers for 1,000 users and the traffic is very high, you put a load balancer to help you manage the requests between those two servers and your users' requests. So a load balancer knows how to direct traffic effectively between those two servers so you can get the optimal performance and the users don't complain about your site being too slow to respond or your site is hanging, stuff like that. So that's in a nutshell, that's really what a load balancer is. Yes, you're welcome. Any other question? Mm, okay. Any feedback or anything you guys would like me to know? Okay. Just a moment. Let me just give you guys a minute or two. Okay. Could you touch on VPC networking? Okay. Like I said, here's my advice to you about internet, a company that does core networking. It will speed up your learning process, or you should go and take courses on networking on YouTube. Google networking basics. They are like pure networking books that will explain these concepts. But if you really, really want to speed up your learning process, it has to be hands-on. You have to try things manually with networking. You have to try and connect two routers. You have to try and fix problems. You have to check a lot of practical networking questions. So VPC networking means just dividing your territory. So let's say between 0 to 100 at the 0 to 100 are the spaces we have. So if I'm going to use a virtual private cloud, VPC means virtual private cloud networking means dividing your own unique space between 0 to 100. So for my space on the cloud, I could just say 0 to 5. That's my space on the cloud. So 0 to 5 is what other people use to recognize me. So if on the cloud platform for Azure, I see 0 to 5, it is automatically recognized as this is for a particular set of people. Yours can be 5 to 10. So that's what VPC networking is. Any resource material you can recommend for cloud computing? Okay. Any resource or material. There's this scholarship that comes out every year, Andela Learning Scholarship, ALC, with Google Cloud. If you can get in, the applications usually, I think this year's own, it comes out around July or June. That's, by the way, they give you free access to Pluralsight and everything. That's for GCP. But if I should recommend any material personally, if you're a structured person like me, if you like your things being organized, I'll recommend you take a course online. Let me see. Udacity has they have a new course on Azure. I could recommend that. Which other one can I recommend? Just hold on, please. Let me think, so I don't recommend rubbish. For cloud, I could recommend Udacity. And one thing I would say is take projects. Check simple projects that have been done on YouTube. Try to re-implement, then question yourself on it. I think that's better than any resource. Because the problem about resources or materials is that they get too theoretical and you miss on the practical stuff that need to actually be implemented. So what I would say is take an introductory course like on YouTube. There are a lot of introductory courses. Just check introduction to Azure or GCP or AWS. Take an introduction course or check Udacity. Take their cloud computing course. Get familiar with the basic concept and jump into the ocean of any platform you want. You can start with Azure, AWS, or GCP, but I would advise you could start with Azure or AWS because they have free tiers. They all have free tiers, but AWS free tiers is for 1 year. Azure, I think, is for 1 month. And if you're a student, you can use your student mail to get, I think, 1 year free access or so to some things. So you can also do that and be hands-on. My advice is be hands-on. Just keep doing stuff and keep questioning everything. Try to understand how the things work on the hood. Don't rush. It could be confusing at first, but that's really my advice. Start with mini projects. Once in a while, on my channel, at you can check me on YouTube. I release some projects once in a while. The Tech Maestro. I release some projects on YouTube in relation to this. Any other questions, please? Let me see. I've answered the VPC networking, any material, check Udacity or Udemy, take introduction course, create an account on any cloud platform and you can start practicing. Any other one? Any other question? Are we all cool? I'm waiting for you guys in case there are other questions here. Okay. Any feedback before I get done with this session and call the session to an end? Any feedback? Anything you need me to refer to back on the slide, or you guys are, if you're cool with everything, please you could just type yes if you're cool with everything. All right. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the amazing things you guys are going to build. Please, I'll leave you with this. Anything you run on the cloud, because I've made this mistake in the past and I ended up with a 20-something dollar bill. Anything you run on the cloud, be sure to stop it immediately you are done, because it is pay as you go. Just make sure to stop all the services you're running before leaving the cloud, and don't feel overwhelmed with the environment. Start small, and before you know it, you're an expert. Also, feel free to send a message to me on Twitter if you're confused about anything. and also try to also teach one another and help one another. Teamwork is great and to improve your learning process. All right, thank you very much. It was nice of you guys joining in the session, and do have a lovely evening.
Okay, thank you, Yusuf. Maybe will be available. We do some hands-on session
Yeah,
next time. We do a practical session.
hands-on session. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yes.
Uh, I would love to do that actually, but I've exhausted everything. I've exhausted all my credit on the cloud, honestly. I would have loved to show you guys a demo, but see, where is AWS? Yeah, I've exhausted all my free tier. Anything I do from now on is going to be paid for. That's just a sad thing. I would have loved to show you guys this, but unfortunately, I had to delete it. But subsequently on YouTube, the Tech Maestro, I'm going to be uploading videos there. You could check those ones. I, I'm
Okay.
not sure. I'm not sure if I've uploaded anyone relating to cloud, but subsequently I'll be uploading most of the projects I'll be doing there. If that's fine with you guys, the Tech Maestro is the name of the channel.
Okay, we'll check out.
Oh, okay. Since you can see my
So,
screen, let me just show you. Um, come to YouTube, the Tech Maestro. Yeah, this is it. So I just put everything about my journey here and how I'm doing because I'm a DevOps engineer. I just put different things. So subsequent things will be uploaded here. That's it.
okay, awesome.
All right. Thank you everyone once again. I'm very grateful. Yeah. So I could leave the session now, right?
Yeah, you are free.
All right. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
thanks for.
Yeah.
Uh,
God bless you and have a lovely evening.
so, guys, session. Are we extending the session? We have a chat.
No, Rudy.
Ama tumalizie hapo.